think everyone's here? All right, Commissioner Boyd's going to lead us in invocation.
Dear God, thank you for all the blessings you've brought to our community. Be with our firemen, policemen, first responders, and our servicemen and women as they try to protect us in the world we live in today. Help this commission to listen to the public and hopefully make good decisions for our community today. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. I'd like to call to order the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for September the 23rd, 2020. First item of business be the approval of the minutes, meeting of August 26, 2020. We have a motion. Okay, I see there's one change. We need a correction made. And with that correction, we have a motion. And we have a second. Okay. All in favor of the motion to approve? It's unanimous. All right, financial report.
It's in your packet. I'd be glad to answer any questions. Again, it's a two-page financial statement and then the balance sheet item. Again, if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Any comments on the financial report? I have a motion for approval. And I have a second. All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, construction sureties.
Yeah, that as, again, I'm way back here that you guys can spin to the screen if you want real quick. Got two items. You got your normal courtesy list of the bonds we're holding, cash bonds and letter of credit. And then we're asking for another partial release for Hunt Farm, section 123. And as you know, we bonded, we had 1,677 feet of sidewalks back when we agreed that we'd pave the street and the developer would finish out the sidewalks in that section. And then in January, we did a release for approximately 500, we did a release of almost 1,100 feet, and there were 577 feet to remain. We went out there last week, and there's only really 2 lots left to do. So all the sidewalks have been constructed except for a section here, and I may have those actually marked in reverse, but I believe that's correct, and then the section here. And so we're doing another partial release if you guys see fit, and then just the remaining bond would be $1,960 for just those 2 sections of sidewalks, and one is actually will be under construction real soon. This one is possibly happening, but I mean, there's actually dirt work happening on the others and houses being constructed, and then this would really be the last lot to construct. And of course, section 4 that goes on around the curve, the new street, we're holding a letter of credit on that for sidewalks on that cul-de-sac section. But the staff's recommending we release the difference of the 8932 that we're holding, and just the bond amount would be 1960.
Okay, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve.
Second.
Vince, seconds. All in favor? Motion passes. Okay. Subdivision approvals. You want to do those kind of lumps?
It's your all's decision. Lisa's going to do those. There's a ton of them on here again. I think last month she went through them fairly rapidly, just give you a little update, and then you guys can either vote on them one by one or do them as a group after her report. It's whatever you need to, and there's one that's been substituted that will need an extra preliminary approval today. We'll get to that one when we hit there.
Why don't we do, like, say the first 5? Can we do that?
First 5?
We'll just do them 5 at a time? save you a lot, give you a break between all your talking.
Okay, we ready? The first one we have here is Williamsburg Village, it's Laughlin. Has applied for a subdivision plat creating lot 16A from the property of Moss. And combining it with the adjacent tract of McLaughlin, creating tract 34 of Williamsburg Village, section 4, fronting Raleigh Court, containing 0.689 acres. The property is zoned R1A, plat received preliminary approval, has been corrected, it's ready for final approval today. Wilmot is the surveyor. As you can tell, it's just conveying a back portion from one neighbor to the next. And some of our plat, we've got our order here. The next one we have is Bryant. Steve, you wanna show that on screen? I think it got out of order in the. Colin? All right, Diane Bryant has applied for a subdivision plat creating lot A1 at 0.051 acre from Foley's Lot A. It's at 99 Mitchell Street. It's combining A1 with the adjacent lot 1 of Bryant at 93 Mitchell Street in Junction City. Bryant's lot 1 totals 0.305 acres. The property is zoned R1A. The plat has preliminary approval, has been corrected, and is ready for final approval. Wilmot is the surveyor.
Lisa, I'm thinking that one didn't get any packet.
Did it get stiff?
I'm not seeing it either.
I don't think that in your list of plats, it's not skipped, it's just, must not have put it in the.
You find it? Oh, wait.
That one says Lakewood Acres.
Is that the right one?
No.
I don't see it in the packet, I'm missing it. You got your files, Lisa, let's just pass them around that version of the preliminary plat, because I don't see it on my packet.
Bryant.
Say, like y'all pass that around, that's the plat.
Can you throw it up on the screen, Steve?
I don't have it because I scanned the packet.
Mitchell.
Mitchell Street.
A lot of glasses, there it is. So
That's probably how it got.
there you go. So we'll just pass that around and give you all set to look at that.
I'll let y'all have a look at that part.
I'll just add on to that. So the lot that you see 4B is being conveyed to the property to the east. It says Bostic Bent Tree Farm LLC. Those neighbors are buying or intend to buy that lot. Potentially, they may replat it onto their property, but it's more of a buffer lot to add on to their farm. And then this other lot 4A, I think will be for sale, is what we were told. Because it's a general public or whatever, but 4B, I believe, is going to the property to the east if the plat's approved.
Next, we have Bertram Harmon has applied for subdivision plat creating and dividing tract A at 5.497 acres from her parent property. It leaves about 38 acres in the parent tract. Tract A and parent tract front Crane School Road in Perryville, Boyle County. They're zoned ag. There's an existing barn on tract A that is non-conforming with our setbacks. The plat has preliminary approval, it's ready for final approval, Vantage is the surveyor.
So this, the tract that this is creating has all the road, most of the road frontage.
Yeah, the parent tract, though, the farm, I guess the remaining piece has some frontage. It says 50 feet on there, so that's a 50-foot strip. Go back and serve the rest of the farm.
Okay, next we have Dennis Cox Group has applied for a subdivision plat amendment for Woodgrass Estates Development Company, Section 2, Phase 2 at 0 Benali Drive. This plat divides the current Lot 2 to create Lot 2A at .301 acres. And that is then combined with the existing Lot 3 to create Lot A at a total of .921 acres. It combines the remainder of Lot 2 with the existing Lot 1 for a new condominium regime of 8 units, common areas, and access. The property is zoned RM3. The plat has preliminary approval, is ready for final approval. Vantage is the surveyor.
Okay, so let's take these 5. Any questions? All of them are ready for approval? Need all? Any questions or motions?
Make a motion, we approve the first plat.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor? Motion passes. Okay. You just want to do,
Again.
okay,
Next, we have Donald Beckley has applied for a plat that combines his lots number 10, 11, and 12 into a lot 10A that totals .653 acres. His lots front Wells Landing Road in Boyle County. The plat notes that former plats show the property line to the center of Wells Landing Road, and that the neighbor's fence, retaining wall, and HVAC unit encroach on this property. The property is zoned ag, the plat has preliminary approval, is ready for final approval. Vantage is the surveyor.
So is this just
Neal Farms LLC by Michael Neal. They've applied for a subdivision plat dividing his 415+ acre farm into tract A at 343 acres, tract B at 43 acres, tract C at 4.88 acres, and tract D at 24 acres. The tracts all have ample frontage on either Henry Powell Road, Highway 68, or Short Line Road. The property is zoned ag. The plat has preliminary approval and is ready for final approval. AGE is the surveyor.
I'm Dale Shepperson with AGE Engineering. This plat, the owners actually wanted to subdivide it further. So we have a new plat that is rolled up there now. Yeah, I can pass those out if you all would like to look at those.
Be a good idea.
So we'll expand on it. Yeah, Dale called, and we got two plats that are substitutes. They went through preliminary approval, this one did, and then the owners changed their mind on a couple cuts. So Dale wanted to know if he could submit a new plat today. And he explained the differences. And if you all want to, it would need a second preliminary approval and final approval. If you want to say we need more time to review it, it can be pushed to next month and go through the normal new tech review process if that's your choice.
So what have they done, Dale, between two plats?
They have the property south of US Highway 68. They wanted to divide that into 4 tracts. And then right north of 68, there's a tract for 5 acres there on your original plat. They want to divide that into 3 smaller tracts. And then there's 2 tracts on Short Line Road over to the, if you will, the left side of your plat where the road frontage is for the 80-some acre tract. They wanted to divide that into 2 1.5 acres and then the remainder of the farm. So in essence, it'll be 11 tracts altogether.
Are there houses on any of these?
There are no houses on any of them. There's a very old house on one of the tracks to the north of US 68. It's basically just a shell.
Is tract C2 a buildable tract? The little triangle piece?
Yes, that's the one that actually has the shell on it. It looks a little bit small on there because it's pretty tight, but there is I think that's about 1 2/10 acres, and it's got a buildable lot.
So you're saying we've added 11 lots
It's 11 lots total.
total?
Added 5, correct? So just to add in here, we saw kind of, or talked about this just briefly, and what tech review would normally look at, again, is a lot of the things we're looking at of the plat are the technical items, the notes, the purpose statement, whatnot. The actual line work that we get, what we're verifying typically is that it meets the minimum lot size of the district it's being proposed in, and that the setbacks are correct. And if there are any structures, we're looking at building rooftops and then any easements or things that have to be on the property. So at this point, the new lots, simply what we would review is, do they meet the minimum lot size of the zoning district? And all of these would. We typically don't judge whether it's 8 lots or 10 lots or 15 lots. We just make sure they got the proper frontage, they're the proper size, minimum size, and then if they have structures, that we review structures and easements and that thing. So the plat would meet all our requirements if we were bringing it back through tech review as a brand-new submittal.
All right, so we're adding C1, C2, D1, D2, D3, and then these other two over here, B1 and B2, correct?
Yep.
And you've got a 50-foot right-of-way between B1 and B2 to get back to B.
Yes.
Yeah. And Dale, you might expand on what made the property owners make that change? I don't know if they were just back and forth as a,
I
mean, you've
really
been
don't know
dealing
why they made the change, other than the fact that this is a father-in-law, son-in-law sort of situation. And the father-in-law is getting part of the farm, and the son-in-law is getting the other half of the farm. And the father-in-law's part, I suppose he just wanted to go ahead while I was at planning and zoning to divide his property up. That's my assumption.
Okay, so we've got to decide whether we're gonna,
give it preliminary approval. This one would need a separate preliminary approval to substitute for the prior plat that got that effect.
I'll make a motion to get preliminary approval. Second.
okay, so we got a motion, got a second, all in favor? Motion passes. So this alternate plat is what we'll be approving on the Neal property, number 8. Okay, so we've substituted that. So now we're moving on to 9.
Next, we have Land Center Holdings Properties. They've applied for subdivision plat dividing their property at 401 Urban Road into 2 tracts. Tract A at 3.7 acres and tract B at 1.25 acres. Tract A fronts Urban Road, tract B is non-conforming without road frontage and is being conveyed to an adjacent property owner, L. German. Property is zoned ag. Plat has preliminary approval, is ready for final approval. The surveyor is AGE. Next, we have William and Patricia Hunley. They've applied for a subdivision plat to create from their parent parcel a tract A containing 3.771 acres and fronting Dry Fork Road. The property is zoned ag. The plat has preliminary approval and is ready for final approval. AGE is the surveyor.
Okay, any questions on that group?
I'll make a motion to approve that group.
We have a motion for approval.
I'm sorry, there's a question, there's a name difference, there's names Undle or Undle.
Hunley?
Hunley,
Parts of it has Undle.
on the plat,
Yeah.
where could you point that out?
It's right in the center of the
Oh,
page.
I see it, yeah,
I don't know if it makes a difference.
William Patricia Hundle.
And it's over on the right
Yeah.
too.
Do we just need to make note of the corrections that need to be made?
It's Hunley, well, it'll be Hunley.
Sorry, I'll second the motion.
Okay, got a motion, got a second. All in favor of the motion? Pass. Okay. Let's do five
Rousey.
more. I'm sorry.
Yes. Next, we have William Rousey and others that have applied for a subdivision plat to create tract A at 1.161 acres from the Rousey and Eaton parent property. Tract A fronts Ghost Pike. It's non-conforming due to the existing home and garage structures lying within the setbacks. Property is zoned ag. The plat's received preliminary approval and is ready for final approval. AGE is the surveyor. Next, we have Jody Sharp Construction Company, Inc., have applied for subdivision plat with improvements for the development of Candlewood Section 8. The development will include one bonded roadway and 23 lots for single-family residences. The property is zoned R1C. The plat's received preliminary approval, is ready for final approval. Vantage is the surveyor.
I just want to clarify one item, at least said zoned R1C. We had a zone change hearing last month for this property. We went from R1A to C. The city's just done the first reading, so it's actually in process to become 1C. We won't record the plat until the city finishes the zone change review process. But the first meeting, they all made a consensus vote to the city attorney to draft the ordinance to approve. So the next reading will be Monday night, I believe. So technically today, it's still R1A until the city finishes the rezoning, they'll become R1C. We won't record the plat until that's finished. And at this point in time, we're still waiting on a bond, construction plans, all the due diligence, because we're building a public street. So this plat won't be recorded till all those things are done. This just puts the preliminary approval through the final approval process, so then we can record it when those 4 items are complete.
Okay.
Next, we have Maurice Holmes has applied for a subdivision plat for the division and development of a 20.374 acre parcel of land that is located at 100 Lakewood Drive, Boyle County. The property is to be divided into 4 lots, all fronting a short public street with a cul-de-sac added at the end of Lakewood Drive, a county road. The property is zoned ag. The plat was revised and requires both preliminary and final approval today. Vantage is the surveyor.
And let me point that out. You do not have that revised plat at your seat or at your packet. I'm gonna show it to you on the screen because we just got it. This is the plat that was in your packet, and this shows a new county road, or would, at this point in time, what the plan was, this is Lakeview Drive in Old Bridge. It's a stub street. What the developer was proposing was to cut off on this plat 6 lots and run a private street in. This would be a gated private street. After discussions with the county and the developer, this is the new plat right here that they're asking to substitute. So the county road, or the private street that was gonna come down through here and create 6 lots, is now gonna create, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 lots. There'll be a cul-de-sac ball built at the terminus of Lakeview Road. So they're gonna do a cul-de-sac, which will be a public cul-de-sac, and then these will be private driveways that come off the cul-de-sac that may be gated at that point, back to that, those 4 homes. So what we'll be bonding, this is a revised plat, and all we're doing is now cutting off 4 lots instead of 6, and we're building a cul-de-sac instead of that whole road configuration. This will have to be bonded, construction plans turned in, fee paid to us for inspection, and that'll be a terminus now of the existing county road with 4 lots. And as you can see, they all have their frontage. It's not the prettiest plat we've seen as far as the lot shapes, but their goal is then to probably put one kind of nicer driveway in that the property owners share, and there's a good chance that'll be a gated private driveway that goes back and serves those 4 lots. So again, this is more at the, after meeting with the county engineer and with the developer and planning commission, I think all agreed that going this route is better than the prior one, simply because the private street was gonna be fairly big, as you can see on the prior plat. We would have to bond that private street, which we didn't know we played that role on a private street. And then the county's desire was to make sure there was a terminus at that existing county road of a public nature. And we can still create the lots, we just can't create 6, there's just enough frontage to do 4.
Good.
Yes,
So, the builder owners of that property are responsible for the upkeep of that private road?
well, it won't be a road, it'll just be their driveways
Yeah,
at that
but I
point.
mean, they'll be responsible for that, so the terminus is the responsibility of the
Yeah, the
county.
cul-de-sac bulb will be
Okay.
part of the county's inventory. Once we bond it, it's built, and then the bonds, construction is reviewed and released. And then really, what's really happening too is there's a house under construction here, and there's a second house, family member that's getting ready to build a house on this lot. There may be a couple more homes, but short-term, we're trying to build 2 homes here, and we're at the end of a stub street that didn't have the frontage to create that other lot. 'Cause that Lakeview was just stubbed into this farm, and these folks bought the farm, and so really it became one building lot of 20 acres. So hopefully in the future, if we have stub streets or we develop stub streets, that we have some type of terminus, either a hammerhead or cul-de-sac, A, so you could get turned around at those streets, and then B, if there's a track that can be developed, we prefer this kind of option as we move forward with future tracks. So again, that plat has been substituted for the one you've seen and would need preliminary approval as well as final approval.
So we need preliminary approval for this one as well.
Correct. And Mr. Holmes is here if you guys have any questions for that project out there.
So I need a motion.
I'll make a motion, we give preliminary approval to the Lakewood Acres lot.
Second.
All right, I got a motion from Commissioner Mannion and a second from Commissioner Griffin. All in favor? Motion passes. Okay. Moving on.
I think we may have to use that order then.
We should be on
Y'all
number
have
14.
Next, okay. Next, we have Tommy and Jean Ann Case. They've applied for a subdivision plat dividing from their parent tract fronting Ghost Pike, a tract 5A that contains 2.528 acres. There be 9+ acres remain in the parent tract. The property is zoned ag. The plat has received preliminary approval and is ready for final approval. Stephen Carroll is the surveyor. Lastly, we have William and Patricia Hunley again. They've applied for a subdivision plat to divide tract number 6. It contains 2.053 acres from their parent tract that fronts Mield Road. The parent tract will retain 164 acres, more or less. The property is zoned ag. The plat's received preliminary approval and is ready for final approval. Stephen Carroll is the surveyor.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion. All right, so we're going to approve. All right, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Got a motion to approve from Commissioner Kelly. Have a second? Second. Commissioner DiMartino. All in favor? Motion passes. Okay, public hearings. Dennis Cox has filed a site development plan amendment on tract of land containing .963 acres located at 629 and 651 Ben Ali Drive. The property zone multifamily.
Okay, I'm gonna handle the two site plans, and if you guys wanna look at the screen real quick, here's a zoning map. And you just heard this plat revision earlier. So this is zoned RM3. This is the lot we're talking about. The original site plan amendment, as you can see, we have some apartments in this general location, this general style. And the original site plan showed a continuation of this style of apartments on that lot. And with the plat amendment, and actually that would have been 3 lots, as you heard before, that was in 3. This has now been combined into a new lot. And what the applicant is doing a condo regime to build 8 single-family homes under a condominium plat development. So as opposed to shows you continue apartments in RM3. As you can see, this is a condominium plat, so you see 8 single-family structures, approximately 1,800 square foot in size. It'll be brick. And it's a condominium development where those folks will share in that development. And the common space, as you saw on the plat, is kind of all around the property, the shared travelway. So again, there's common space throughout the plat. The individual buyers will buy their lot or their unit, their single-family unit, and then they'll jointly share in that 9th lot, being a condominium lot. This required a site plan amendment simply because we had an approved site plan. If you were coming in brand new with a development like this would not require a site plan approval. Because it's single-family lots, and even if it was multifamily, it'd be below the threshold. But because it was part of original bigger PUD back in the day that were renamed site plans in 2004, we have to amend those formally anytime they've been officially approved in the past. So this site development plan meets all our requirements as far as landscape, drainage, parking, meets the condominium regime requirements, and again, you're looking at 8 single-family lots that'll be on that RM3 lot on Ben Ali right there. So there'll be 8 new homes proposally built there. Again, unusual for you guys to be approving a single-family style development as a site plan approval, but prior approvals require this type of amendment. I'll be glad to answer any questions, and Kendall Wise is here with Vantage if you guys have any technical questions on the layout.
We have a motion?
This is a public hearing, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. So you, anyone who wants to speak in favor of this site plan? Anyone who wants to speak in opposition? Okay. So at this time, I guess we can have a motion if one is so forthcoming. Okay, Commissioner Kelly makes a motion to approve the site plan,
I'll second.
and Commissioner Mannion seconds. All in favor? Motion passes. Okay, Storehouse of Danville LLC has filed a site development plan on tract of land containing 2.121 acres located at 0 David Drive, Danville, Kentucky, property zone highway business.
Yeah, another site plan approval. This is a new one. Again, the zoning map's on the screen up there if you guys want to spin around. I'll show you that real quick. That's not in your packet. So David Avenue, as you know, as you come out Stanford Road, here's David, kind of goes around to Letton. This is the new probation office here. These 2 tracts are currently vacant, zoned highway business, and were purchased by this entity, and their desire is to build storage buildings on those 2 lots. The parcel lines look off here, PVA lines are a little out of kilter with the aerial, but technically these are 2 acre lots, approximately 4 acres here. that would potentially have storage buildings on. As you know, in the highway business zoning, a site development plan is required for any development that hits a 10,000 square foot threshold or above. And this is the plan that, this is the corrected plat, or site plan. The site plan you have, it's very similar. We had some technical corrections that had to be made. And so that came in yesterday. AGE's here, the engineer's here with AGE. So I put that on the screen. Really, the only difference is they need to denote the office and dedicate 2 parking spaces. But what you're looking at here are storage buildings, different, bigger ones here, kind of dual storage buildings here, and then more on this side. So really 4 rows of buildings with some dual doors. You're looking at 33,400 square foot of storage buildings, drainage, access points onto David. And then, as you know, on storage buildings, we allow a solid fence in lieu of landscaping. The old ordinance, you could do a chain link fence for storage buildings, and you had the landscape parking. Under our new ordinance, it has to be a solid fence. And if you do chain link, you have to do landscaping in combination with chain link. So we no longer see the sides and rears of storage facilities. They're completely screened. There's a note up here. This will be a chain link fence with the slats, which meets our definition of an opaque fence for this development. So again, it'll be completely screened, and you're looking at the travelways, the buildings, and this is approximately 45% lot coverage. We had a few technical corrections we needed, just mostly that's in this note box down here on the bottom right. And this engineering firm made all the corrections and got us the information we need here. And again, it's showing a 900 square foot office, which would require then 2 dedicated parking spaces. So it's a staff's recommendation. It meets all our requirements for a site development plan. The only thing that may be a tad bit in flux are those access points on David. That final decision on those access points are the City of Danville's decision. And the engineering firm has been talking with the city about their final drainage layout and those final access points. So, but at this point, the buildings and all the associated parking and travelways meet our requirements. Again, this is a public hearing for a site development plan for, at this point, the address is 0 David Avenue, because it hasn't been addressed yet. And again, AGE's here if you guys have any technical questions for them on this project.
Okay, at this time, if anyone would like to speak in favor of this site development plan, please come to the podium, state your name and address. Seeing none, if anyone would like to speak in opposition to this site development plan, come to the podium. All right, seeing none, we can close the hearing. Have a motion? Okay, got a motion from Commissioner Boyd, got a second, Commissioner DiMartino for approval. All in favor? Motion passes. Okay, this third one, Raymond Float has filed for an application to rezone property on tract of land containing 17.505 acres located at 313 Henry Street, Junction City, Kentucky. The requested zone change is from single-family residential, R1A, and two-family residential, RM2, to general business, GB.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
it's my understanding that Mr. Float is not here this morning. I understand from Steve that he has a robust excuse for not being here. On a zone map amendment, when the applicant is not present and they don't have a lawyer present, that's something that's considered the practice of law under certain authority. From a practical perspective, if during this hearing we might need the owner to be able to agree to conditions or give other information about the project that he's unable to give in his absence. So it would be my suggestion that we table this matter till the next meeting.
Very well. Do we need a motion for that?
Yes, please.
Okay, have a motion?
Make a motion to table this matter.
Okay, have a motion? And Commissioner DiMartino second the motion. All in favor? Thank you. New business, advisory committee report. None.
None of the committees met this month. They're just more on there as a,
Personnel committee, none, nothing. Budget committee, nope. Other business?
Nope.
Nope. Any announcements?
none that I can think of unless you all have a few.
Congratulations on your wedding last month.
It wasn't my wedding. Let me make sure I clarify that. I'm already married. It was my daughter's wedding.
Your wallet's a little lighter.
Let's talk about that at next personnel committee meeting, because yes, we need to talk about, yeah, my wallet's a lot lighter. Thank you so much. Yeah, my daughter got married in this COVID environment, interesting enough. And just be upfront about it, looks like there's another grandchild on the way too. So all this stuff started to make sense, so. 2 for 1
We
on
have
that
a
deal.
motion to adjourn. All right. Second. Commissioner Sleet seconds. Thank you all very much for attendance. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Lisa. And thank you, Counselor. Appreciate you all.